Seahawks fans, I'm asking you to not jinx it this week by liking the video if you believe the Seahawks are going to beat the LA Rams. The history against Sean McVay, it's not great, but that just means they're due for a win. So if you want Seattle to keep those playoff hopes alive by beating the Rams, like the video right now. Tom Downey here on Seattle Seahawks Today with some interesting, I'll call it, rumors out there around Seattle, the biggest of which is actually focused on the offseason. Pro Football Network claims that the Seahawks would be a good fit for Von Miller next season. That, of course, is the former Denver Bronco, now a member of the LA Rams, who Seattle plays this weekend. Miller is set to be a free agent, to the surprise of nobody. That's how contracts work out, after all. The argument from Pro Football Network, I should say, is that Seahawks pass rush hasn't been very good, and Von Miller, free agent. Yeah, he's aging, but he could be a big boost for that pass rush. Here's their argument before I get into mine. The Seahawks have posted only 21 sacks this season, third worst in the NFL. Their 20.3 pressure rate is seventh worst in the league. 2020 second-round pick Darrell Taylor has produced 6 sacks and played decently overall, but the rest of Seattle's edge rushing group needs reinforcements. If Seattle decides to make another run, Miller could be a great addition. Now, Seattle was one of 4 teams on the Pro Football Network destination list. The Browns, Seattle, then both the Chiefs and the Chargers as, man, he'd be doing Denver dirty if he went to one of those 2 teams. Now, in his 4 games with the Rams, Von Miller has been okay. Not great. Not a different scheme, different defense. He's getting used to it. Was coming off the injury. But not the production that maybe you would expect in a 4-game sample size out of Von Miller. Of course, we know who Von Miller is. The dude who averages a tackle per game and not that far behind in the sack category either. He is, after all, one of the best pass rushers of his generation. Now, I'm going to give you a firm answer from my perspective here in a second, because I got thoughts on this. But I want to hear from you guys first. Should Seattle sign Von Miller next offseason? Type in Y for yes, N for no. This is the pinned comment on the video. So if that ad plays here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down to the comment section and get your votes in. Y for yes, N for no. I'm actually going no. I would rather invest elsewhere on the roster. Now, regardless, this assumes that Russell Wilson's back, right? Like, you're going for it again with Russell, otherwise, you're not going to add an aging Von Miller. But I think at this stage in the season, or in their careers, I don't think that makes the most sense for Seattle with what they've invested into the position. Rasheem Green's a free agent, but you've got a young Darrell Taylor, a young Alt Robinson, and you've paid Benson Mayowa and Kerry Hyder and Carlos Dunlap. Are you going to eat that money? Are you going to just say, yeah, sunk cost? Or, hey, maybe you put Jamal Adams back as a pass rusher like you're supposed to be doing since he's great in that area. So this is not about Von Miller being a problem. This is about the Seahawks offensive line not being that great. Them needing some maybe more interior pass rushers as opposed to edge rushers. Maybe some cornerback help. You might have to replace Quandre Diggs. I'd rather pay Diggs than Von Miller right now. So I get the allure of one of the premium pass rushers of the past 10, 15, however many years. But I think specifically for Seattle, with what they've invested at edge rusher, maybe look in a different direction, or at least a cheaper direction. Now for more Seahawks news, rumors, previews, updates, draft coverage, free agency, and everything you could possibly want around Seattle, subscribe today. It is free here at Seattle Seahawks Today, and it always will be. So don't delay. Subscribe right now. No rhymes here. Cris Carson update. That's as expected, but not good either. Pete Carroll said Carson had surgery to fix his neck injury. He had suffered the injury, was placed on IR, and then was designated to return earlier this season. But he was never activated from IR and quickly was said, yeah, he's out for the year. The run game for Seattle has been really inconsistent this year. Carson had been the best back the past couple seasons in Seattle. I do think they missed him, and I am going to be honest, I am concerned about Carson's long-term NFL career. I'm glad he got paid this offseason. Necks are scary. I don't like neck injuries for NFL players because they don't often get fully better. So I want you guys, if you haven't already, to like the video, to wish Chris Carson a speedy recovery. A fantastic football player when healthy. Hopefully, he gets healthy soon. In the meantime, of course, you know who the backs are. Well, no Alex Collins, as we mentioned on yesterday's video. He is now on the COVID list, so guess whose time it is? It is suddenly the Rashaad Penny show. Thanks to injuries elsewhere, this is the opportunity for Penny to make some money this offseason. In Week 14 against an admittedly garbage Texans team, Penny with a blistering 16 carries, 137 yards, 8.6 average, 2 touchdowns. The best game, I believe, of his career from a stat and film perspective, drastically helped out his production this year. Much tougher test against the LA Rams this week, but it is time for Penny to emerge and show, hey, I can be the guy. Maybe Seattle gives him a bit more money. Maybe a different team pays him. But it had looked for a while like he was going to be a bust. Is this the beginning of a rejuvenation for Penny's career? So with Collins out for the time being and Carson, of course, out for the year, what's your confidence level right now in the Seattle running back room? Get those votes in for me. Scale it 1 to 10. 1, the low end, 10, the high end. The Seahawks enter this week as a 6-point underdog on the road against the Rams, which I actually find a little bit low, given what the Rams just did last week, but they, of course, have their own COVID issues. If you want to bet on or against Seattle, do with our sportsbook partner, BetUS. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code is Seahawks125. It'll get you a 125% deposit bonus. So you put down $100, boom, extra 125 coming your way for free. It's chatsports.com/bet. Promo code is Seahawks125. The odds, by the way, for Seattle to make the wild card, plus 800. So you get the 125% deposit bonus. Why don't you put $10 on Seattle to make it to the wild card? If they make it, you're pocketing 80 plus the 10 you bet. If not, you only lost $10. It's a great value if you believe in Seattle or maybe bet on them to just win a game down the stretch. Either way, again, one more time for you, the URL and the promo code, chatsports.com/bet, Seahawks125. Some DK Metcalf slander, disrespect, we're going to talk about now on Seattle Seahawks Today. Cris Carter, who I forgot was still a thing, put out his list of the top 2 wide receivers in the NFL. Or was number 2 receiver, excuse me. Metcalf was number 5 on Carter's rankings. Now, admittedly, Metcalf's production has slowed down lately, but he is still one of the top young, promising players in the entire NFL. And I really feel like Carter's list was, recency bias. Number 1, Chris Godwin. Okay, I understand that. Adam Thielen, you can make an argument. Mike Williams? Are we sure about that one? I don't know what planet I'm taking Mike Williams over DK Metcalf on. They're both big-bodied receivers. We've seen a better high from DK than from Mike Williams. Amari Cooper on there too, which means, I guess CeeDee Lamb is wide receiver 1 in Dallas. Okay, that's fine. DK unquestionably is top 5. But wouldn't you make an argument that he's just, if you flip Mike Williams, DK Metcalf, I think that list looks pretty good. Putting him at 5, though, that ain't it. So if you haven't already, get another chance. Like the video if DK Metcalf should be higher. If you already liked it, YouTube can track this. Unlike the video, like it again. It'll count as double. Do it right now. Referring back to DK's numbers here, look, again, the numbers are down. And that's the reality. First 8 games, last 5 games, very different level of production. For whatever reason, Seattle has always had a tough time getting both Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf going at the same time. It feels like it's only one or the other that's thriving in any given game or any given stretch of games. And look, you cannot, as Seahawks have done too many times this year, let DK go a full half with 0 targets. That's a failure of, I believe, the scheme, maybe the quarterback as well. Metcalf, since 2019, 14th in receiving yards. That's, of course, since he entered the NFL. That's pretty damn good. The most receiving touchdowns since 2019. He is tied for 5th with someone named Cooper Kupp, who's boosted his stock this year. I don't see Chris Godwin on this list. I see Mike Evans, the Bucs' #1 receiver. I see Thielen. I don't see Cooper. I don't see Mike Williams. I don't see it on yards per catch either. I see Mike Evans once again, but I see no Thielen. I see Justin Jefferson. I see DJ Chark, which is kind of funny, actually. You got to put DK Metcalf higher than 5 among the #2 wide receivers in the NFL. Now, maybe he boosts his numbers this week with Tyler Lockett, likely out due to COVID-19 this week. Lockett has been balling, 62 catches, already over 1,000 yards this year, although Metcalf not that far behind him. Ironically enough, the yards you think would be higher for DK. Again, I think the scheme has a little something to do with that, but I'm not going to stand for any DK Metcalf disrespect. He never should have fallen to where he did in the NFL draft. He should have been a first-round pick. You can go look at my draft board, a rare W for me from that perspective. With no Lockett this week, maybe not Jalen Ramsey. We'll see on that front. I think DK Metcalf about to feast against the Rams, especially since Ramsey's playing the slot for reasons. So how many receiving yards for Metcalf against the Rams? I'm going to say 105. A big-time game for DK, and I might take the over on that, actually. But I want to hear from you guys. How many receiving yards do you think DK Metcalf ends up getting against the Los Angeles Rams? Get those predictions in for me in the comments. And if you haven't already, subscribe, guys. I want to do more videos for you guys on the Seahawks, but sub numbers are down, and it's a meritocracy here at Chat Sports. We're struggling. Let's get it back going, and we'll do more videos almost every single day for you guys on the Seahawks.